Be human.
So a new bill allows Oregon students to take mental health days. Mental health experts say it is one of the first state laws to explicitly instruct schools to treat mental health and physical health equally. And it comes at a time educators are increasingly considering the emotional health of students. But don't call it coddling. The students behind the measure say it's meant to change the stigma around mental health issues in a state that has some of the nation's highest suicide rates. The state of Oregon has a suicide rate 40% higher than the national average, and the national suicide rate has been on the rise, and it recently hit a 50-year high. So, Frank, why do you think this bill is a good or a bad idea?
I think it is a fantastic idea because mental health in today's day and age is kind of a nightmare in terms of increases anxiety and suicide across the lifespan, but especially among kids. And if even just the practicality of you have 5 days off for mental illness, then that's 5 therapy sessions you can go to. And the idea that, and also I've said this on prior podcasts, that there are these people that these kids look up to and idealize in society. They're talking about depression, they're talking about anxiety, they're talking about borderline personality. Then it makes it easier for them to have a forum to discuss it. And I would also say the idea that a school system and sort of people in authority are saying, yeah, you should seek out mental health care, then go for it. I think it's great. I didn't know about this until I read it, but and I think it's also underscores the fact that teens are the ones that are making, I think, some significant change in our society. And I hope that these teens and young adults will continue to shape our culture.
So I agree, and I want to be very clear that I am in favor of this. I just want to play devil's advocate for a moment, though, because as a fellow person with ADHD, I tend to procrastinate sometimes. And I was thinking when I was reading this, I was like, that'd be great. Because there were times where I was like, Mom, I'm really sick right now just because I didn't do my work. And the reality is, I think we're potentially walking into an avoidant territory where, okay, so we've got kids that are stressed because they have so much work to do, but then they miss other work, and then are they going to get behind there? I don't know. So I think when we have those sorts of initiatives put in place, I think it just has to be used with caution. And, obviously it's going to be on a case-by-case basis, but I am in favor of it. I just think I wanted to highlight that little factor.
I think it falls into the same category of kids who seek extra time on SATs, extra time on, tests because of learning difference or ADHD, and that there probably should be some sort of checks and balances from the mental health professional.
What do you mean?
Well, you can't get extra time on a test unless you've gone through sort of the procedure. So if a kid's taking a mental health day, I would also, and this may be too extreme, but I'd also kind of want evidence that they are, well, I feel both ways on this, that they are receiving help versus I'm just stressed and I need a day out of school.
Yeah. I'm kind of in the camp with Emma Kate where I am totally in favor of it at the end of the day. I do agree with it. It does feel like, and I've tried to dig in this a little bit, that there's a fuzziness to it, which I think in some ways might not be awesome, because in some ways it feels like it would be great to have days that were just like personal well-being days or personal days that it's like I'm stressed out or I'm behind, but I don't necessarily have like a diagnosed condition that's getting treatment. Sure. That would be fine. But when you're saying it's a mental health day and you can kind of decide that, and you're not, and there's not any kind of requirement, because if you take a sick day, most of the time, if it's for an excused absence, you need some sort of verification of that, and so I think it opens this sort of door up to be like anything can be quote mental health as opposed to just like it's just general stress, well-being, whatever. The thing I love about it, though, it was driven by student advocates and activists, and I think it is a great start. I think particularly in Oregon, among other states that have skyrocketing rates of suicide and anxiety and depression, it's definitely a move in the right direction. So it's good stuff. And so it might need a little fine tuning in some ways, but it also is something that I think is definitely moving in the right direction.
Thanks for watching this Being Human segment from the Shrink Tank podcast. To watch the full episode, click here, or to check out previous episodes, click here.